Much for coming out today, even though the weather is a little bit poorer than usual. If you are new, this is 1 Million Cups, and we meet here every Wednesday at 9 a.m. And in fellow cities across the nation, our compatriots are also doing the same, 72 cities. If this is your first time here, we normally have two presenters, but today we are just going to be having one. And before we bring up our first presenter, we're just going to run through some quick announcements. Please join our email list. We are looking for subscribers and new contacts. We're always trying to expand our entrepreneurship community. If you could also apply online, if you have a company and you've not yet applied. Oh, what's going on? If you have applied and you'd like to become a passport presenter, you can do so by going to other cities across the nation. And if you are looking for office space, the Forge still has space available. If you'd like to announce an announcement this week or next week, you can email us at Tulsa at 1millioncups.com, and you can be added to the newsletter. Next week, we will not be meeting here. We will be meeting at the NSU campus at 8 a.m. It is the 4th annual OCAST event. It is free for 1 Million Cups participants to come in the morning, and if you'd like to join for the rest of the day, I believe there is a discount. The keynote speaker is going to be from Google, and OK Coders is still, accepting applicants for their fall participants, and if you'd like to join that, you can email okcoders@gmail.com. And finally, please welcome Bryant with For You Media, which is a talent development and management company.
Thank you. How's it going, everybody? I'm Brian Lamar. I own a company called For You Media Group, Artists for Artists. What that means is we are a company founded by artists. When I say artists, right now, currently, I mean musicians, but we hope to branch out in other markets as well. I'm a musician myself. I'm a music producer, originally from San Diego, California, and so I've done the New York and LA thing, and I love it. And I've had successes. I've played on a couple people's records and things of that nature, but I've found talent, real talent here, and so we formed a company to help develop that talent. There's a couple of the people that we've worked with thus far. Ben Lindsay of What's Happening Tulsa, Blue House Media just right down the street, in Transformation Church, as well as Life Church and Tulsa Public Schools as well. Music, film, books, and TV, those are the markets that we hope to get into, but right now, currently, we're just focusing on music. Music production and recording, we have a studio to where we can produce in-house music, write it, produce it, mix it, master it, and put it on iTunes and other digital media platforms. Artist development, we take artists, develop them, put them in vocal lessons, get them social media marketing, get them photo shoots, video shoots, client account management. So basically what that means is when a client comes to us, as opposed to them having to go find other mediums such as bass players, musicians, photographers, videographers, we handle all of that for them. The client pays us, and then we handle and take care of their accounts for them and their social media management. Meet Cade Rivera and Briley Nicole. These are two of the artists that are closest to my heart. Cade, I met when I was working at Guitar Center, and he had a lot of talent, a lot of potential, and still does have a lot of talent, a lot of potential. He would come in, play the guitar, and people would just crowd around him all the time, hands down, every time. A lot of producer friends of mine kept saying, hey, I'm gonna work with him, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Hey, did you hear that kid over there? And I'd be like, yeah, man, he's good. And promise after promise fell through. And so right then, that's where I had the concept For You Media Group, Artists for Artists, knowing the struggle that it is to kind of make a name for yourself, but not having any of the resources. And so I said right then in that moment that I'm going to be a resource to Cade. So I brought him in the studio. Within 2 months, we had a single released on iTunes. 3 months after that, we had another single released on iTunes. 2 months after that, we had a video shoot at Sapulpa Schools for a friend of his that passed. as opposed to just putting the video on YouTube, we actually put it on Vivo, which is a very hard platform to get on, but we got it on there. Within, I want to say 2 months after that, 15,000 views, which is pretty good for Tulsa. So after him came Bradley Nicole. And just by word of mouth, same situation. She was at a music school that she was getting lessons at, vocal lessons, and we're talking about a girl that is was underestimated. And again, she got promised, hey, I'm going to work with you. We're going to write original music for you. We're going to do this, that, and the third. And what Mom said after 2 months of working with me, she said, you have done in 2 months what people promised me and my daughter for 2 years. Loved it. And so that's what we do. I made a decision to form a company that makes good on promises, that keeps their word and honors our agreements with people. We don't just talk, we actually do. So there's a photo shoot with Cade. Like I said, this is after probably about a month of working with them, how to present yourself, how to talk to people, how to become not just a high school student, but to see yourself as an artist. You know, there's something magical about when these kids type their name in iTunes and it comes up. Mind you, we're in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We're not in New York and LA, and so they don't expect to think like that. They don't expect to be able to do those things. If anything, most of them, by the time they've gotten to 15, 16, and 17, they've kind of given up. Well, let me go ahead and start planning for college to become an engineer or so forth and so on, which is fine. I'm totally with that. And we encourage them to go to college. And I actually tell them, don't go to music college. We'll work with you on that. Go to business school. Learn how to manage your books and accounting and things of that nature. But yeah, it's so enlightening and heartwarming when you see the life on their face and it comes to life, like, oh, that's my name. I'm listening to my song. Or I could type Jason Derulo and he comes up. Or I could type Justin Bieber and he comes up. And then after that, I type my name and I come up. Bradley, she actually did another photo shoot with somebody else, and I have a standard at For You Media Group that it has to look, taste, and touch like it cost $1 million. If not, we don't put it up, or at least close. And so I wasn't really satisfied with the first, and so I was like, hey, don't worry about the photo shoot. We'll cover it. I just need you to see what I see for her. And so we covered the photo shoot with the photographer here downtown, and this is what we got, and I loved it. We did a whole campaign, #Party of the Year. All of her friends loved it. This is her second single. The first single was called Superman. Jaja, who happens to be one of my favorite here on the left, mind you, all of these people are 17, 16, 15. She's a friend of mine that goes to Life Church. Super talented, same thing, same situation. Promised this, that, and the third. Nobody ever made good on their promise. And so, like I said, two weeks, we had a single. What I love about Jaja, she writes her own song. Cade and Bradley, we write their music. Cade is starting to, Bradley not so much. But Jaja, she writes her own music. And what I said to Jaja is, I do not want to touch your lyrics at all. She's that good. And so having that type of integrity to know, say for this artist, we need to kind of push a little bit. Or this artist, hey, you could be a songwriter, and this artist, maybe not so much. But Jaja, she definitely is. Same thing with S.C. Jane, Chantel Jane. She's actually my assistant. So everybody that works in For You Media Group actually is a product of For You Media Group. So even myself, I have a band. We tour around town. We play at a couple bars and things of that nature called A Day of Stars, and we'll start touring here again in the fall. And I'm actually very excited about that, some of the music we have coming out. But Chantel, she's my assistant. She books every studio session, every photo shoot. You'll probably see her before you see me. Traditional pricing, this is how we've kind of priced everything else. So in a traditional studio, you're talking about $1,000 for songs, plus studio time, musicians' fees to hire musicians, mixing and mastering. Minimum, you're coming out per song $2,000. Times that by 5 songs, which usually I tell people you don't want to do more than 5 songs. Looking at $10,000. What we've done, we've kind of condensed that. It's a lot more work, I guess you could say, but we all love it, and so we do it. We just mapped it out over the course of 12 months, 9 months, and 6 months. $500 for 12 months, $400 for 9 months, $300 for 6 months. Substitute a video shoot or two, but most of the times it's still including a 3 to 5 song EP, depending on the price point. October 2nd at Fullest Things Coffee House, we'll be hosting our first event ever. Festival of Stars, named after my band. I can do that since I own the business. But yeah, it'll be our first time putting any of our artists on stage, and I'm super excited because they've been working for. Yes, we can put out singles, but when it comes to stage performance, it's a little bit different. So we've been working with them for the course of the last year on just getting ready for the stage and how to command a crowd and capture a crowd. And so I'm super excited about that. They're super excited about it. If you want to know more, you can go to foryoumediagroup.com or email me personally at info@foryoumediagroup.com. Our Instagram is For You Media Group, and our Twitter is For You Media Group. I'm Brian Lamar. Thank you so much for your time.
All right, thank you. And so at this point, we just raise your hand, and we'll come around for any questions. All right, so a question up here.
Great presentation. Appreciate it. Talk about your company, your organization. How many people are there? You mentioned scaling along with music, into books and other things. Talk about your thought on that scale and what your organization currently is.
Currently, we have 3 employees, my wife being one, Chantel Jane being another, and myself. We're looking for interns to help scale across those other mediums, but currently it's just myself. My wife manages the books and takes care of all of the money stuff just because I don't like being that person. And then Chantel, she books all the appointments. So I get to work with the talent personally, and I'm training another producer right now. I'm very, very, excuse me for lack of a better word, anal about about what things look, taste, touch, and sound like, right? And so although I've seen other producers, I haven't yet been impressed. And that's not to just boast myself. There's people I've worked with that they're not For You Media Group material, or it's not For You Media Group material. Yes, I'm proud of the work, but it's not to the standard that I would present under that medium. I don't know if that answers your questions, but currently, yeah, 3 employees.
All right, question in the back here.
You said that you have experience on both the East Coast and the West Coast, LA and New York.
Yes.
Do you still have connections in the industry that are going to help you leverage people's talents here in Tulsa that are going to help get them that national exposure, or is it something that you're trying to focus on, you're being that bridge for them, solely just you?
Currently, to be honest, I'm trying to focus on me being that bridge. When you start talking too much in depth, especially when I'm working with parents, in their minds, they're still trying to see if my son or daughter is going to commit to this long term. And so as opposed to bringing indecision to connections that I have made, I'd rather just kind of manage it myself. And I'm still hoping and believing that Tulsa can really develop a music and film and all of that type of community itself to where we can put our own in the spotlight as opposed to relying on New York, LA, and Miami.
Okay, question right over here.
How many artists do you currently have, and where do you get leads, for lack of a better term? How do you procure those?
Currently, we have 7 artists on our roster. 3 are under 18, and then the remaining 4 are, over 18, self-included. Most are just word of mouth. Every now and again, I will go on YouTube or Instagram and kind of search, but for the most part, it's just word of mouth. Hey, they see what I've done with Kate, they see what I've done with Briley and Jaja, and it's like, okay, hey, this guy is serious. And so, yeah.
All right, question back here.
How do you deal with attrition of your artists, and have you ever had to turn anyone down who was interested, but you just didn't feel they could bring the kind of image that you wanted with For You Media?
What was the first part of the question?
Attrition, for instance, if you had an artist that you thought was committed and they had decided it was no longer the direction they wanted to go?
So we do have light agreements. I don't like the word contract, and parents don't like the word contract, especially, like I said, if they're still trying to figure out if their son or daughter is going to commit to this long term. And so in that light agreement is a portion that's written that, hey, you can stop at any time, we can stop at any time. It could be on either party's decision, and at that point, the monthly payments stop. And if you do owe anything, you come up to that, or if we owe you anything as far as what we've said, we'll come up to that point, and after that, we'll just we'll just stop, and you can start back at any time. As far as have I ever had to turn anybody down? Yes, unfortunately, and I hate it. One of my mottos or standards is I never want money to be an issue or a reason why you cannot pursue your dreams. But I have had one student that couldn't afford to continue with this, and even still, I'm trying to work a backdoor way. And I've still worked with her very limitedly, but we set a standard. We try and operate at that standard. Like as I said, personally, I have worked with people that I wouldn't consider to be For You Media Group material, as in the standard isn't there. If that's the case, we just say, hey, we have you sign a form that basically says For You Media Group had nothing to do with your project, but maybe Bryant Lamar did or whoever else did.
All right, question over here.
I got kind of a two-part question. So you guys do a lot of production and stuff. So the first part of the question is, how much do you do in the way of not necessarily tutoring, but developing specific music skills? And then the second part of my question would be, have you worked with any of the people who do tutor students in their music abilities, or I'm thinking of like Pressler, it's over on Cherry Street, and they do singing lessons and different types of instruments and stuff. Have you ever worked with any of those groups, or do you think that's something that might be able to help generate interest in the production side of your business?
It could, provided that the agreement is that we come to a good agreement. I know that personally, I'm the first artist that For You Media Group represents. So if there's a school or a person, even vocal lessons or photo shoots or video shoots, I've always been the first person to go, just because, and I never tell them that I own the company or anything like that. I just want to go as a student. I just want to see kind of how things operate, and see the standard that they consider. I haven't yet found a lot of people, or the people that I have found I use, but and not saying anything against Pressler. I know Amanda Pressler personally, and I think she's great, but I haven't yet found a lot of people that go to the same standard that I'm used to. Usually they're trying to turn my singers into opera singers, and they don't want that, and I don't want that, But I have worked with videographers and things of that nature to contract them out and have them. There's one guy named Kevin Camp, I love him, and he'll teach a class for me just on posture and positions and how to look sexy, how not to look sexy, and things of that nature.
Okay, I got a question back here.
I like your presentation. You're very clear, easy to see, and easy to understand. And I noticed you have a very clear list of services and fees that you provide. How do your artists make money? I can see how you make money, but how do your artists make money in this process?
Currently, right now, just through record sales. Unless they write the song, they recoup more off of record sales. But currently, right now, it's just through record sales. And we've kind of already come to an agreement that unless it's a certain amount, it's not really worth writing a check for. So we'll just reinvest it. But for the most part, it's just through record sales. We're not yet at that margin through record sales to say, here's your check, if that makes sense. So we'll reinvest it. If anything, it pays for their reloads and further lessons and things of that nature. 2. So in those 3, excuse me. 2 that are under the age of 18 and 1 that are over the age of 18.
So you said you have 7 artists and you put up your costs up there, and it looks maybe like $14,000 a year.
Yeah.
I was getting that right. It doesn't sound like you're able to financially support 3 employees off of $14,000 a year for the company income.
Not yet.
What does success look like for you and your company, and what does the next year to 3 years look like for you, and where are you going?
Success for me looks like if we could ever branch into a more seen market as opposed to just heard. I think our net worth would double or triple. I'm trying to get to the point to where we're at least over $100,000 a year, and that's on the low end. But I know I'm not a fool. I know that just by putting music up on iTunes isn't just enough, which is why we're throwing a showcase to try and get people to see some of these artists, as well as I think our next move is going to be putting people on commercials and trying to see if we can get them just on platforms to where their faces can be seen and start managing them in that way and managing and holding some of those accounts for them.
All right, question in the back.
Okay, so completely ignorant question. How do you see like The Voice or American Idol or any of those? Is that ever a strategy for you? Is that something that you talk about with your clients?
As far as contracting them through The Voice, I've talked to them about it. Most of them weren't interested. Mind you, this is our first year working with them. So especially with the kids under 18, it's more of a confidence thing. Can I do it? Yes, you can, but So we told them, okay, maybe not for this year. Let's develop you, get you ready for next year. So our goal this year is just to do local things such as the Driller Stadium, just auditioning for that, sending audition tapes into that, see if we can get them on the national anthem, things of that nature. Just local things to where it's not so monumental, and then try and push for those bigger things. Well, The Voice, not American Idol. They won't be.
Sorry, so I have a question. So we've seen within the last, I think, 20 years a huge shift in the music industry where very famous people that were making a lot of money are making next to no money, or
Right.
a lot of it shifted to touring. Have you guys thought of a business model for your artists, not only on the development side to get them to where they're attractive to the public, but a model to where they in and of themselves become their own business? For example, building into each artist a tour, or clothing along with that, or some type of, basically some model that goes with each artist to make them self-sustaining on their own.
Yes.
To expand your business model.
I've thought about it, but not to put it on paper and form it into a plan, but it's definitely something that's been thought about. What I've always said is that anybody under the age of 18 performs as one act. You'll see maybe on screens their picture surface to identify them as a individual, but they'll perform as one act, just because I don't trust anybody under the age of 18 yet unless they prove it, to hold a stage by themselves. But anybody over the age of 18, we're building to be able to function more independently. But yeah.
Question in the back.
Is there an opportunity here for you to cultivate YouTube or digital artists and people that could potentially make ad revenue from their own channel, or to get a video out there that would go live, viral? Have you done any work with that?
I haven't. We did one campaign called We Are Here. We started it a couple of months ago and put that on YouTube just to kind of see where our market was, and it didn't get too much response. And so we actually shot 3 videos, put one up just to kind of test it, and didn't get the response that we were hoping for. So we're going back to the drawing board, seeing how we can get people's attention another way. So if what you're saying is maybe shoot a video with each artist performing or something like that, put it up?
I don't know what the mechanism would be, but I've seen the same thing happen with music. I don't buy music anymore. I stream on Spotify.
Right.
So you're not making any money if I'm, even with my Spotify subscription.
Mm-hmm.
But that global distribution of music has allowed me to pick up artists from Australia, from New Zealand, from Europe, from places that I never would have gone to buy a CD. Their team of distribution would never have gotten a CD over here, maybe, but likely not for many of these people. So I've now been introduced to all this incredible music from all over the world, and it seems to me that the best of the best kind of filters through when you're online, right?
Yeah.
You have to find a way. Now that anybody can get on there, anybody can post something on Spotify or iTunes. There's so much. We almost have. We have a lot more. We have a better chance of finding something really good, but it's harder. So people have used video. I've seen it video. You see these great people reposting videos on Facebook and YouTube of incredible people just singing in the shower, singing in their house. And the videos aren't well produced, but the artist is underneath. I just wondered if there's an opportunity that you see there for promoting them, not through live music, but actually as an identity online and a way to reach more people
digitally.
Yeah.
I don't know what the mechanism would be, but video would be that would be my thought. I've just seen that happen.
Ben, let's go to lunch sometime, bro.
I have a question for you. So if I had if I knew somebody that I thought would fit into your model, what would be like a 2-sentence explanation for me to use to them to tell them what you do? You know, I mean, are you artist discovery? Is it management? Is it an agent? You know, what's kind of a real quick way for me to describe, what what For You Media Group does?
Artist development is usually the route that I go with people. Just because I haven't found yet that it exists in Tulsa, whereas you can find other studios and even agents and producers here in Tulsa, but artist development, artist management is usually the route that I go with people.
Okay, so like maybe a development coaching?
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
Coaching, vocal lessons,
all right.
photo shoots, video shoots.
All right. Well, looks like I think that's all of our questions. The final question that we have is, what can 1 million cups in the community do for you?
Looking for venues. I'm looking also to partner with other live festivals and things of that nature, Center of the Universe, Mayfest, Oktoberfest, and things of that nature. So if anybody knows anybody who knows anybody, please let me know. And I'm also looking for great ideas, such as what Ben said, because I'm not too proud to say that I have it all, not at all. Ideally, what I love to do is just make music, but, we don't know. As I heard somebody say before, when you start a business, be prepared to work 4 or 5 jobs, right?
Well, that's all we've got for today. I want to do a couple things really quick. Who's here for the first time? Dang. I'm so excited to see who's here for the first time. At every time.